Bom, hoje é dia 18 de setembro e o Zaf tá mixando uma música chamada Salomé, que é uma das melhores músicas do álbum God From Hell. E enquanto isso, aqui fora tem um urutau cantando. É uma ave noturna, maravilhosa. Eu vou ver se eu Tomara que tenha dado para ouvir. O urutau, também conhecido por ave fantasma e mãe da lua, é uma ave de hábitos noturnos, com registros nas regiões mais quentes da América Latina. É uma ave cercada de mistérios e lendas. Alguns dizem que o urutau é um espírito que aparece no início da noite. Dizem que quando ele canta, as crianças precisam entrar em casa e ir para a cama, ou ele irá levá-las para o outro mundo. Outros dizem que o canto dessa ave é um presságio ou aviso da morte de algum familiar. Por isso, muitas pessoas acabam tendo medo do urutau. Nós não temos, e todo ano esperamos ansiosamente para ouvir o canto dele e quem sabe um dia poder vê-lo pessoalmente.
Fui para os bosques porque pretendia viver deliberadamente, defrontar-me apenas com os fatos essenciais da vida e ver se podia aprender o que tinha a me ensinar, em vez de descobrir a hora da morte que não tinha vivido. Não desejava viver o que não era a vida sendo tão maravilhosa. Nem desejava praticar a resignação, a menos que fosse de todo necessária. Queria viver em profundidade e sugar toda a medula da vida. Viver tão vigorosa e espartanamente a ponto de pôr em debandada tudo que não fosse vida, deixando o espaço limpo e raso.
Encurralá-la num beco sem saída, reduzindo-a a seus elementos mais primários, e, se essa se revelasse mesquinha, adentrar-me então em sua total e genuína mesquinhez e proclamá-la ao mundo.
A falta de liberdade, a dependência de todos os mecanismos que você é obrigado a depender, entendeu? Para andar daqui até ali e sobreviver.
Porque
na maioria dos casos não é o dinheiro.
Não, é a coragem.
Exatamente, a coragem de mudar de vida.
Você ficar no meio do nada, sozinho, sem ninguém.
É um desafio.
Só com você mesmo e geralmente com mais uma pessoa ou duas.
Abandonar a civilização, viver off-grid.
A maioria das pessoas tem esse problema, elas precisam ver gente. É interessante o jeito como a civilização usa as pessoas como marionetes, saca?
Sim. Causa aquela violência, o desespero, o roubo, o assassinato.
Exatamente.
Antigamente era o acesso a um monte de cultura. Hoje não existe mais isso. Você sentado em qualquer meio do mato, você tem acesso muito mais do que era antigamente.
Então,
às vezes a gente tem amigo que vem para São Tomé e a gente fala assim, vamos dar uma passeada, andar ali até a Pedra do Furo, que é 1 quilômetro de São Tomé. O cara fala, mas tem bar lá?
Essas coisas que a civilização impõe em você e te prende para você não sair dali, é interessante. É interessante. Vai dizer que não.
Se livrar disso e você se confrontar a ausência dessas coisas.
Assim, a gente demorou para se livrar disso tudo, cara. Foram anos, insistência.
É uma purificação.
É a insistência, cara.
E o se encarar é a coisa mais importante que a gente veio fazer nesse planeta.
Bom, mas eu tô falando isso daí porque a gente tem alguns amigos, poucos, né? Mas alguns moram aí fora da civilização. Decidiram por eles, não porque eles tiveram que... Exato. Não, eles quiseram largar tudo e vir, né, pro meio do mato. E um deles, que a gente vai mostrar hoje, é o Highway Hippie. Ele é um cara que mora lá no Canadá. Ele é um cara que já morou num ônibus, sacou? Um ônibus grande.
Ele sempre sai com o barco dele, fica uns tempos no mar.
Ele morava num barco, agora eu não sei como é que ele tá, mas ele morava num barco. Já morou numa barraca daquelas tipo tipi,
E o legal dele é que, assim, além de ele fazer um programa de rádio, ser um ativista em vários sentidos, ele está envolvido nesse problema que está acontecendo em Fairy Creek, que ele está tendo uma batalha que está sendo o maior ato de desobediência civil da história do Canadá. Eles estão protegendo a última fronteira das florestas virgens e das matas antigas, ancestrais que tem lá no norte.
Indígena.
Terras indígenas que estão ameaçadas, assim, pela indústria e pelo capitalismo, e eles são a última barreira, e ele faz parte desse movimento, e ele vai falar um pouco, explicar pra gente o que está acontecendo lá, falar o envolvimento dele e também falar sobre a vida.
Com vocês, Highway Hippie.
Highway Hippie here, coming to you from beautiful Pender Island. And yeah, I've been home now for a few days from the blockade up at Fairy Creek. I'm posting this video, a special request coming from Brazil, from Off the Grid Docks, Back to the Land Docks, Carolina, Escarlatina, a band that I have been following for about a year now, and they've been producing videos about their adventures off the grid and the lifestyle that they chose 20 some odd years ago in Brazil. And they've asked me to answer some questions for them today. And the first question is, why did I abandon civilization to live off the grid in my bus or in my boat or on a beach? Well, the answer is simply this. I had no choices. Economics and having the choice of either living in homeless in a tent city or off the land somewhere away from the city and all the problems associated with that, with the drug addictions that go on and the mental health issues from people that are forced to live in tent cities, the homeless folks. So that initially brought me to a beach on Cortez Island where I built myself a little structure and put a tent in behind it right on the beach, and I lived there for a few months when I got my radio show started. More about the radio show after that. Once able to forage in the forest, the berries and the plants that were available, as well as living off the ocean with the oysters and the clams, sea asparagus, all kinds of good green food coming from the ocean. I realized that I did not any longer need big chain stores whatsoever, contributing to climate change and whatnot with the mass amounts of garbage associated with big chain stores. And not to mention the poor quality of foods, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, all being sprayed on our food. I felt that it was detrimental to our health, both physical and mental health. I have had opportunities since going off the grid some 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago now, to live in tents, teepees, boats. My partner and I have now purchased a 20-foot yurt, which we are looking for a piece of property that we can go and garden on. We're not at all interested in buying property because nobody owns this land as far as I'm concerned. And I profess to say that I come from Turtle Island, which was named Canada some 150 years ago, after it was stolen from the indigenous people who had been here for some 10,000 years. I don't consider myself a settler. I have Cree blood running in my veins, which makes me a Métis. I do come from privileged stock here, but I realize what that privilege has brought me, and I use that privilege now in order to help my indigenous brothers and sisters, BIPOC, elders, and the young ones coming up, I really want to take this land back for the original people of this land, the true caretakers of this land. I've seen the devastation of colonialism personally in this country. I've been active in participating in the devastation, the environmental devastation, spending most of my life either hauling materials for, the gas and oil industry, or building logging road for the logging industry. And this is how I made my money. This is how I paid my bills, was with these dollars and cents. And over the last 10 years of my career, I really started to question myself. I really started to question my motives. I really started to question if it was all really worth it. Working for a paycheck, paying interest on money that's been invented and pulled out of the ether by the powers that be, the bank, the one percenters. And I knew at that point that I didn't owe those people any money, and it was about time that I needed to make a change. In the last 3 years, I have been producing a radio show called The End of the Road Show via Cortez Radio, and you can look those podcasts up at cortezradio.ca, or if you look me up at Highway Hippie, and that's the same spelling as on this YouTube page here. At Instagram, the link for the SoundCloud is right there on my intro. The End of the Road Show has brought me to 3 different provinces on Turtle Island, as well as hundreds of locations in order to do my weekly podcast. And it's a wonderful thing, technology. All I need is a Wi-Fi signal, and I can download music, and I can record a radio show for your listening pleasure once a week. And I've been doing it for just over 3 years now. This last few months has been the first time that I've missed any episodes, and I've had to play repeat episodes because of my activities up at Fairy Creek Blockade. And for any of you that don't know what's going on up at Fairy Creek, it's the last intact remaining old growth watershed on Vancouver Island that we are fighting a militarized police force and a corrupt government to save. We're standing side by side with the Apache-Dat and Diddy-Dat nations. We are invited guests on that land, and the RCMP are not. They were up there arresting over 800 people to date now, since May of this year. Over 800 arrests, some of them violent, some of them disturbing. I have come home here now to figure out exactly how it is that I can still participate in being active at Fairy Creek through the medium of social media and getting supplies together without actually being on the front lines. There's a lot that we can do. I see the devastation of our environment, the ecocide that's going on, and I hear the voices of our young ones, the up and comers, that have very little hope in a life. They don't want to have children. Then there's going to be nothing left for them to leave their children, and that's a sad state. We could already be past the point of no return. But that said, do we just give up, or do we halt all dangerous and environmentally detrimental activities right now? Right now. Stop burning fossil fuels. Stop mining uranium. Stop logging old growth forests. We can sustain on on this continent, we can sustain in the whole world. The First Nations peoples of the whole world were able to sustain a life, feed their families, feed their communities, not at the detriment of the environment. It was only colonialism and the big banks that actually started the devastation by the rape and pillage of the resources, and only for monetary gain. I truly believe that if we respect Mother Earth and we respect all the plants and animals, the insect, the birds, this planet, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call her, will take care of us and sustain us. There is more than enough to give on this planet if we just respect it. I would encourage you all to look me up at End of the Road Radio if you want some really funky commentary and a very eclectic mix of music, I might add. Now that I'm unwinding, I'm feeling pretty traumatized. My spirit and my soul is very tired after 3 months of fighting the police and providing medicine for the kids up there on the mountain, all those brave souls. A big shout out to anybody that's up at Fairy Creek right now, holding the front lines, cooking food, bringing in supplies. Even if you're at home and you're watching this video and you're on Fairy Creek and you're doing what you can from home, if you're conscious, if your intent is there and you follow it with action, we will make a difference. A big shout out to my peeps in Brazil, Zeph and Carolina. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this video today. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much. Until later on, this is the Highway Hippie saying peace out in Lakash. We are all one.